Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 3, Episode 13, Zeno 2 Surprises, Autel News, and DJI Release News. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. We're going to talk about, we'll spend some time later, the very last part of the episode, talking about the big news today. But I want to focus a lot of this time on talking about drones here. Now, you're looking at an empty chair for Marcus, and let me explain why it's an empty chair. Right before we went live, they had an earthquake. His desk was shaking, his chair was shaking, the computer monitor was shaking, everything was shaking. He and his wife stood in the doorway. He's going out to check things, and then he's going to get back to us, but he wanted to leave his camera on in case, something happens. So, Ron, how are you this evening?
I'm doing very well, Bill. We're locked down here in New Jersey. We're really only going out for groceries and medicines and so on. But my town is still pretty safe at this point. I know people hear a lot of bad things about New Jersey, but it's still kind of mostly in North Jersey. But we have to stay inside so it doesn't get down here and social distance. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to a good night talking about drones. I heard you have a little surprise for us tonight, so I want to tell anybody that's in the chat, don't go any place. You may miss something. Lauren, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Wasn't a good weekend for me. I lost a friend of mine to COVID on Friday. He lives in New York, so it's kind of a somber weekend, and it's rather unfortunate that because of everything that is going on, that I wouldn't even be able to attend his funeral. So it's kind of a sad thing, but it's a matter of everybody's got to pull together, and let's make this a shorter event rather than a longer event. Follow the directions that you're getting, and social distancing is going to be a big part of it. And if everybody can do that, it's going to be a short-term pain for a long-term gain. So hopefully everybody does their part.
Absolutely. And Ted Bowman's in the chat. You remember Ted lives in the same town as Marcus, and he just said in the chat, one picture fell. Yes, earthquake here, no damage I can see at my house. So that's good. So if you can remember Marcus and Ted and all the good folks up in Idaho right now, I mean, the last thing you need, I know back up in the where I grew up over in Western Pennsylvania and Ohio, they just had a recent bout with some tornadoes coming through, and it's just like, okay, on top of everything else, this is like the last thing you need with the pandemic going on. But we're going to move forward here. We're going to focus on drones for a while tonight. Try to get everybody, try to bring a little bit of smiles on your face. Okay. Now, the first piece of news, Ron told me last night on ZinoNation, which was Skydio 2 Nation last night. Some news about firmware update for the Zeno 2. So if you could take that away, Ron, that'd be great.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, I woke up Monday morning and I saw on my iPhone, the iOS had a update for the Hubsan 2 app. So I downloaded the app, and it said that the two big things that were new were it had the other filing mode. It already had the filing mode where you draw the box over somebody and it files them, but now it added the other filing mode where it files the GPS and transmitter, which Zeno 1 has. It was kind of surprising that Zeno 2 didn't have that out from the get-go, but it has it now. I haven't tested any of this yet. And it also added a feature that I think only DJI drones had in the past. It had live YouTube streaming built into the app on the drone, which I think has been a DJI only feature at this point. Now, I did try to test that in the house, and I had very limited success in getting it to work, but we'll see in the future. And Jaybird just reported in chat here that the firmware update has caused some FPV issues again. Something I haven't had to test it yet, so that's something to look for. But the big news is Marcus is back. Marcus, what is the report on the earthquake? Any damage?
So I just went out and checked my gas line, and my neighbor is 87 years old, so I went and checked his gas line. So no leaks, and it's fine. But it was a significant earthquake. I mean, I can't see, like in my neighborhood, I can't see any physical damage, right? But trust me, you guys watched it live.
Yeah, we did. Ron and I saw it live. Well, Ted, Dr. Ted was on, and he was saying a picture fell at his house.
Yeah.
And no apparent damage over there. So it's like, good Lord. I was just saying right before you came on, it's like, you know, the last thing you guys need or anyone needs is to have an actual disaster during this right now. I mean, it's like, okay, stop for a while, okay? Let us get our bearings, and then, you know, whatever. Yeah. But wow. So
now, of course, the local news is lit up pretty heavy, but I'll tell you, it was. I knew immediately what it was because you could feel it. It wasn't a truck driving by, right?
Yeah, no, we could see. Ron and I could see. I mean, you know, his monitor was moving, the chair was moving, the bookcase was moving. I mean, it was, you know, it was a real deal. I mean, it wasn't something on a Hollywood sound set. I mean, it was the real deal kind of thing. And wow.
We don't know how strong it is yet, or where even the epicenter is. So it could be worse someplace else, right? I mean, we could have been on the edge of something, but it'll get your heart pumping, let me tell you that. And you guys heard me. I was screaming my wife downstairs, and I got her up, and we stood in the, you know, they'd say the strongest place is within a doorway. So I grabbed her, and we stood in the middle of the doorway till the shaking stopped. But yeah, it was. Damn, I've been through one. I used to live in Seattle, and I've been through was a fairly significant earthquake in Seattle, but it was a very different experience than this one. That one was more like an explosion. This was a continual shaking. So,
wow,
interesting stuff.
Well, you know, it's just like here we go. I mean, we just hope everything's fine for you guys. Wow, that's just like on top of everything else. I mean, this.
Yeah, you just got to keep going. What next? You know,
what's next? You know, it's like, I don't know. Well, Ron just told us about, and you know, just to catch you up, Ron was talking to us about the new firmware update for the Zeno 2 and having the ability to live stream to YouTube. But in the chat, Jay Berdrone put something to the effect like it's causing some FPV issues. Which is very interesting. Mark, did you do your firmware update for that?
I have not updated it yet, and that was on my agenda today, and I just didn't get around to doing it. So I hope to do so. Hope to get that done soon, and I'll report back on whether I see any issues with it. But I'm just tickled that Hubsan is pushing these updates out and. You know, working. Also, Ted Bowman is now saying 6.4 is what he's hearing reported.
Oh.
It felt like all of that. I have to
wow.
Tell you, the earthquakes before, it felt every bit of that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus, when you do your report on the update, do it live from the live streaming app on the drone.
Yeah. Come on, Marcus. How come you didn't have the drone out there to show us? You know.
Well, it was live on the pre-show. Bill has it recorded, so maybe he can send me a copy of that recording when he's.
That's true.
I'd love to see it too.
Hey, Bill. Before we get this lost, Ronald Levesque is in here, and he's saying 3 people reported getting their Evo 2s from China today.
Yeah, I saw that. That's very, very interesting. We're going to talk about that coming up here. So, wow, I'm kind of amazed with that. So
a lot going on tonight, Bill.
Yeah, we do.
We got earthquakes. We got Zeno 2 streaming live from YouTube. We got Evo 2s here. I mean, this is a big show.
Well, you know, it's like it kind of reminds. And Ron was on the night that I got swatted. Okay, and Ron sees. He thought it was an EMT, but it was a sheriff's deputy walking past the door over there. When we got swatted that one night.
He stuck his head at the door and looked around or whatever, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought he was like Bill was getting invaded or something.
That's a night I'm never gonna forget. Okay, that was just uber. I mean, it's in the archives. I think it happened.
It's the shortest Rotor Talk live ever. We probably didn't get 15 minutes on the air, did we?
Yeah, we probably got 15, 20 minutes, and then I said, Ron, can you take over? Valerie came and get me, and then there's 6 sheriff's deputies in the house, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And they said, well, we got a 911 call that a man was stabbing his wife at this address. And I'm like, oh, dear God in heaven. Well, to keep a long story short, our neighbor next door, they went to their house first because they couldn't triangulate the signal exactly where it came from. He answered the door instead of his wife. They drew their guns on him and asked, where's your wife? She's in the bedroom. I'll go get her. No, you stay there. We'll get her. Okay. And then they came over to our house because of this. And, you know, it was just incredible. I don't have any other words other than the word incredible for that. But, you know, there's some people with some, you know, devious minds and all that kind of good stuff. And just know that that's a federal offense and it's punishable by imprisonment for life. So, you know, that's one of those things to anybody who's thinking about maybe trying to do something like that. So anyway,
it's a shame you didn't have a mobile camera and you could have followed all that action going through the house. That would have been the highest rated Rotor Talk Live of all time or whatever.
I'd have gotten 500,000 views on that. Right. I'd have been another Casey Neistat.
You would have. Nobody would have topped that. You know, the police looking all over the house for the husband murderer.
And Casey would be pinging me, asking me if he could come on the show. Okay.
Right. Or for some tips.
Drone tips. Okay. Now, you know, we have a surprise tonight. All right. You know, and I wanted to, you know, and I debated about this and what I was going to do. And I came to the conclusion that I said, you know what, you know, we have a lot going on right now. But totally have a lot going on right now. I thought I'd do something live that I've never done before. Okay.
What's that, Bill?
Where's the drum roll?
We don't have special effects on this show. Yeah.
We are going to be doing an unboxing of the Zeno 2 live right now. Okay.
Is that the real Zeno? Is that a real Zeno 2?
That is a real Zeno 2. Okay. Now this is I haven't even, you know, the seal was broken, but that's it. Okay. I have
than mine.
What's that?
Your box looks different than mine.
Well, I got the case.
Well, he got the Flymore. Oh, Bill went
I got
the Flymore edition.
Let's see what goodies are in here. Okay. Nice little Hubsan tag. It's actually a pretty good case. It's like a fake leather, which is actually pretty nice. And there she is in all her glory. Okay.
Oh, wow.
There she is. What a beauty.
Bill, does that shoot 4K 60?
That shoots 4K 60, Ron.
Wow.
Where's yours, Ron?
She's right back here. Updated to the latest software.
Updated, and there's the sensors on the bottom.
Yeah, there's those sensors, just like DJI.
Here's mine.
Let's see what other goodies we have in here. Okay, we have the controller here.
Bill, does that have removable sticks just like the DJI drones?
It has removable sticks, Ron, just like a DJI drone, okay? And we have the obligatory instructions.
Can you read them without a microscope?
Actually, I probably can, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of amazing here. And they also list all the parts and accessories here, too, when you need to order something that will take probably 6 months to get here.
Well, you will need to order a part eventually.
All right.
Nothing like confidence, Ron.
Well, what's nice in here in this bag, there's a lot of straps in here. Here's the second battery.
That's a good size battery, Bill.
That is a very good size battery.
How many cells, Bill?
I don't know. Let's take a look here and see. Okay, I do need a magnifying glass. It's 3,800 milliamps, 15.2 volts.
Bill, that looks like a smart battery.
That looks like one of those DJI smart batteries to me.
It sure does. Here's all the 411.
That's a big boy 4-cell battery, Bill.
See, what other kind of goodies do we have down here? Spare props.
Always need those extra props.
Well, on the Mini for sure.
We'll get to that later, folks.
Okay, now this is kind of funny here because I was told this has a US plug on it. Remember, guys? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was told that this was going to be an EU plug that I was going to, and I bought an adapter off of eBay. Well, I don't need that adapter now.
Well, guess what, Bill? If you buy enough drones, eventually somebody's going to send you one where you need that EU adapter. So don't bury that too deep.
Oh, I'm not. And here's the cable for the.
Which one do you need? The USB-C?
Yes.
It should be in there.
Oh yeah. Here's all the goodies here.
All your connectors.
All the connectors. Everything.
Just like a DJI drone.
Just like a DJI drone. Everything's here. Look at this.
Nice.
Oh, is that your USB? Is that micro USB charging?
You know what is? Oh, this goes to the battery.
Yeah.
That goes to the battery. Okay.
Yeah. You get a real battery charger this time, not that little thing you got with the Zeno 1. What would you call that battery charger we got with the Zeno 1, Marcus?
Waste of money?
Yeah, it was. It was a balanced charger, but it wasn't much. That's
toy grade.
And another set of props here. So
Bill really got the deluxe package.
Yeah. You know, this, I tell you what, for all you have to say about it, this is a decent case, okay? And everything fit in here very well. All right. I was pretty impressed with the case itself. And there's a nice little Hubsan logo on the case, okay? And then a nice little Hubsan tag on the case, okay?
Look at that, like a professional.
Oh, it looks good. It really does look good.
Fine leather. Now, Bill, that could be a good travel kit.
Yes, it sure can. I mean, it's a little bit bigger. I would say it's like twice the size of like a shaving kit you would take over in an overnight bag. But the build quality on this, I mean, I'm still pretty impressed with the build quality on this. I think it's pretty good. They have a mesh pocket out here on both sides. No, on one side. Yeah, no, it's on both sides. They have mesh pockets.
So you can put like your cleaning cloths and things like that in there you may need.
Well, I can put my Anafi filters that I got off of Amazon.
Yes, indeed.
No, I got B&H Photo.
B&H Photo.
I stand corrected. B&H Photo.
Now, Bill, don't forget to do the firmware update for that case also.
I want to do a firmware update for the case. I'm also going to do a firmware update for the charger, okay? And then I'm going to do a firmware update for all the cables, too.
Yeah.
My wife just walked in and told me it was a 6.3.
Okay.
What did Dr. Ted report earlier?
I think he said 6.4. Yeah.
Okay.
Evidently, she heard that on the news.
Maybe he's in a more high risk neighborhood than you.
He is actually due south of me, just probably 5 or 6 miles. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now I don't know anything about earthquake stats. Like, how's that compared to the one at Krakatoa?
Well, Krakatoa was a little different. That was a volcano that blew, Ron.
But an earthquake there too, right?
But well, yeah. Sometimes an earthquake will come with a volcano. But
yeah. I'm just trying to think of some of the great. I think one of the great earthquakes.
Yeah, but like if compared to like some of those big California earthquakes or something, yeah, 6.4 is nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way the Richter scale works is each point it's a geometrical progression of the next one. So when you hear somebody that has a 8 point something, boy, that's the ground really rolling. Yeah.
Hey, Stephen Young has a good comment in the chat, Bill. He says, by the time Bill gets all the updates done to the Zeno 3 will be ready to order.
He's probably right. He's probably.
Hey, Stephen, or at least the Zeno 2 Pro.
He's probably right on that score. That's for sure. But all in all, I got to say, I really like the case. I think they did a great job with the case, and pleasantly surprised that it has a U.S. charger on it. I mean, that was something I was not expecting. So.
Well, Bill, start charging that battery now so you can fly it in the room before the show ends. Don't worry, the Zeno's super stable. You can fly it indoors.
Well, I'm planning on. I might have to do that. I might not have a choice after all's been said and done with everything.
Zachary Keys says a 9.5 is the largest recorded earthquake.
Yeah, I think that's what they had out in San Francisco.
That
great quake, like at the turn of the century.
I thought you were that one during the World Series that one year.
Well, yeah, they had one that they were playing the World Series and they were at Candlestick Park. I remember it was Oakland against San Francisco that year.
Yeah.
both Bay Area teams when that happened. I mean, that was crazy. That was really crazy.
Hey, listen, Jay Bird made a comment here. It's a good comment. Should be pre-charged for a little flight. Yeah, I concur with Jay Bird. When I got mine, I'm going to say the battery was at half charge.
Well, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. I'm going to be getting that charged up while I'm working from home. That's going to be my thing, and I'm going to be doing a firmware update tomorrow, and there's probably going to be a video on the firmware update, so stay tuned for that. You
can probably stay in the house and fly around the door. Just remember to put the mask on the front of this little Zeno tube when it goes out.
That's right. That's absolutely right. We don't want to pick anything up or bring anything back into the house, more importantly. So we're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. And there's some Autel news that happened this week. And it wasn't with the Evo 2, but we're going to talk about the Evo 2 here in a second, is that their vice president, who has been with the company since it became Autel Robotics, got fired. And then their director or vice president of social media got fired. And, it's wow. I mean, it's newsworthy, but it's like, okay, Autel's had its problems, and we all know that. Okay, when the Evo 1 came out, we're all very well aware of the time lag that it happened from CES till June. I mean, that's like 6 months, and that's probably why this happened. But why Autel waited until now to do this? I mean, they're based, they're quote unquote headquarters is in the United States, but they're manufactured in China, and I think the mothership's over in China. So they control the purse strings. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, Autel at the last minute had a booth at CES, but the only reason that they had that booth was because of the mothership over in China funding them, because they were, they're kind of strapped for cash as far as that's concerned.
And Bill, how much is a booth at CES?
I heard 100,000.
Oh, I heard even higher, but I mean, I don't know.
That's what somebody had told me, and that's what I heard. But and I also heard 150,000 too. So,
yeah, I can tell you, and Lauren will back it up, that every one of their badges at CES said Autel, and then right below it, Shenzhen, China.
Shenzhen, yeah. Okay. Well, the tip, the Hubsan, in all the paperwork, because I looked at the paperwork that came with it. It's the DBA, the doing business as name of Hubsan is Hubsan Shenzhen. Okay. It's right in their name. That's the name of Hubsan. So it's embedded in there. And Shenzhen's the hotbed for drones. Okay. There's no question about that. All right. Well, with all this activity being said, and now we get reported in the chat, Ron Levesque, who I know and I've met before, said that 3 people got their Evo 2s, which is a real surprise because I chat with Ken all the time. I haven't chatted with him recently, but I know he's on top of the Evo 2 news, and his last video, I mean, he was saying don't really kind of expect a whole lot to happen right now, and for 3 people to get there, that's pretty amazing with all that's going on. Your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm as stupefied as when I saw Marcus's house was shaking. I mean,
well, there was a little bit more of a loss than just those 2, because there was quite a few in the social media department were kind of given the golden handshake, shall we say? And I think, like a lot of it was, there was a lot of pressure to China to get the CES show to actually happen, and it was kind of a last minute thing. And I don't think they anticipated having the issues, because there's a lot more issues with the Evo 2 than what they're making public. Everything from short range disconnects to camera issues to a few other things. So I think it's kind of sad, but not really surprising. Like China will, if you're not doing your job, then somebody else will. That's basically the way it works. And I think they kind of wanted to move the control back to China, because Jeff Powell was located in the U.S. and even though the U.S. is a large market for pretty much all drone makers, I think they felt that maybe a little bit of the control was slipping away, and then the fiasco of not releasing on the promised date. I don't know about you, Marcus, but the dates that I was given, and plus the emails that I've got, it's hasn't been pretty.
No, and to discussions that we had on, I think even last week, it's so critical for Autel to meet their promises now. And Lauren, based on what you're saying, and obviously you know more about it than any of us, it sounds like there's some big problems there. Yeah, you just don't know. You got to wonder if they'll survive as a drone manufacturer if they're not able to get that drone out and get it out in force, where you, me, or Ron or anybody can go out and order one from your drone store or another drone store tomorrow. They're going to struggle because DJI is not sitting on their hands. We've already heard everything. We're talking about the not the Mavic Air 2, but just the Mavic that they're talking about. Yeah. Gosh, that people will be buying that instead. So you like to see competition. It's too bad that it's not working out.
Yeah, as everybody said, it's you hate seeing anybody lose their job, but again, we know Autel seems to have a problem delivering products according to their timeline, not to our timeline, to their own timeline. But I don't understand about the social media people in particular, because the social media wise, they've done a good job of drumming interest up, and people want to order. People are trying to get it.
Actually, not really, Marcus, because there's a lot of things where they haven't been doing regular updates on social media.
Oh,
we've got a little aftershock there, guys.
Really?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I thought you went, "Whoa, I want to talk."
No. We just had an aftershock that my whole monitor and everything shook there for a second. But anyway.
But Ron, their social media department wasn't doing regular updates, and the stuff that they were sending out apparently struck the wrong nerve with some people, because they felt it was, shall we say, less than accurate. So rather than just putting the cards on the table and telling them. And the other thing is that I heard, unconfirmed, of course, is that they're looking for more yes people. So,
well, that's probably true. I think, and I can really speak to what Lauren was saying about their social media, because they only really seem to focus on social media on Facebook. On Twitter, they were pretty non-existent with any kind of updates or things, but they did focus on Facebook, and their messages were very cryptic at times. And they weren't real. They just vague is probably the best word to describe some of the posts that they would put out there. And then, they would put the obligatory, 10-second clip from, their promo shots that they would put out there. They would post that, and just say, the excitement's coming, it'll be here soon, and all this. But that's it. And then, people would ask them questions. And it used to be one of the guys that was there, who's no longer with Autel, that I'd communicated with before. He got very abrasive at times when you asked him some pointed questions. And their social media has always been kind of uncomfortable to me. Now, even with all that being said, when I've done social media with DJI, more often than not, I take the approach when I'm approaching DJI with social media. I speak very nicely and politely with them, and it seems to bode well when I do that. Okay, it seems I seem to get some favor when I do that. So,
well, that just like you say, the messages haven't been clear, and they're supposed to be social media, so they should be posting everywhere and anywhere, and clear and concise information is what people want, and then. When people start complaining, they're not getting the information back. Well, that, of course, is going to lead to unhappy customers, and believe me, that's the last thing that Autel wants right now, because they want to try and rival DJI, and God love them. I hope that they do, because that's good for all of us in the end. You know, if you want the best drones, you've got to have companies that are fighting for it. They want our dollars. Then, you know, show me why I should buy yours. So
let me run this by you, Lauren. So
sure.
From my perspective, I'm thinking if I'm looking for a drone right now, a higher end drone, right? I mean, what I'm saying is a prosumer drone, like a Mavic 2 Pro or something like that. If I can choose between that and that new Evo 2, even though that Evo 2 might have a few specs that look kind of interesting in it, you know what I know when I'm going to buy that? Why I'm going to buy that Mavic? Because I know it's an established company that's going to stand by their product and that is going to be there tomorrow. And this track record that we're seeing with Autel is not good. So I would be a little nervous about it. I'm going, well, you know, okay, I might buy that Autel drone, but are they going to be here next year? I know for sure DJI is.
Yeah.
Well, myself, and this is one to consider based on your question there, Marcus, is actually the X Dynamics Evolve 2. If you haven't looked at that drone, that is like, it's a prosumer drone, but like, they've followed through. They've nailed their deadlines so far on everything that they've done, and it's actually just an amazing drone. And you saw that at CES. Like, one of the things that really ultra impressed me was just how quiet that thing was, and you know, that's one thing we all want, is a very, very quiet drone. And because, hey, you know, no sense stirring up the neighbors. So.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
But how much did you look at that Evolve 2, Marcus?
I spent a fair amount of time in there. It's a piece of art, you could say that. But you know, the thing is that Evolve 2 it's just above my skill level. I'm just going to tell you, as far as photographic wise and so forth. You know, I mean, I would, that to me, it is in between like a Mavic 2 and an Inspire, right? It's
and that's what it's intended for. Yep, that's what it's intended for. Like I say, that's a prosumer drone. It's not a consumer drone. It's you know, if you're on the higher end of consumer, but you don't want to go quite with the money of getting an Inspire, it's just a perfect stepping stone. And quite frankly, I think that when all is said and done, it could actually give the Inspire a good shot for its money. The biggest thing with that is not having the full 360 rotating gimbal, you know, which is kind of unfortunate. But that being said, the picture quality out of that, the smoothness of that, the flight time, you know, that just beats the heck out of an Inspire. Yeah. So it's just an amazing drone.
Well, I don't know if you saw
at that price point, Lauren. I think the only problem here in the U.S. The only people buying it are going to be the Part 1 and 7 pounds that make money with their drones. Very few just hobbyists are going to reach that far for the price point.
Oh, absolutely,
extremely wealthy. And I got a solution to Evo's problem. I think they should build a drone reviewer, that new VP. I bet you he could get that company turned around, and he could rival DJI if he took the reins.
Only if I could operate out of Florida. That would be the only way I would do that.
You don't never have to leave your office here.
That's right. It would be in the Build a Drone Reviewer studio. I don't know if you saw Ron Levesque posted. Autel posted a bunch of setup videos for the Evo 2 out on YouTube. So peruse those at your leisure. Thanks, Ron.
Who posted them? The social media team's gone.
Yeah, I know. It's probably their VP is probably doing all the social media now. So they're probably doing that as well. I mean, probably working both ends of things.
Bill, hire me as a social media guy.
Jeff Powell's already got a new job.
Doesn't surprise, but well, let me guess, DJI. He got a job with DJI.
No. Yeah, he's already got a new job, and he's working actually as a CEO. So
very good.
Good for him.
That's good. Well, you know, along the lines of, with Autel, that kind of begs the question, and and this is what I want to spend part of the show talking about tonight is, Lauren's been telling us about the DJI Mavic, or the Mavic, the successor to the Mavic Air, coming soon. And with everything that's going on right now, and I don't want to, we'll kind of close on the pandemic talk at the end of the show. But with that being said, is this going to play into DJI's release strategy for when they release this drone, or is it going to be full speed ahead? What are you guys' thoughts for something like that?
Well, personally, I don't see. I think I mentioned it last week, but I think the next release from DJI is going to be held off longer than anticipated. And the key thing there is getting through this coronavirus, because two key things. One is, why have a party if nobody's going to show up? And two, there's a lot of uncertainty in job markets. So purchasing a new drone is probably going to be way, way down on the shopping list. So, and you always want to release something that's going to be a winner and attract sales right away. So if you're dealing with a consumer level drone, you've got to look at your market. And if the consumers don't have the money because of everything that's going on, why would you release it?
Yeah, that's a good point, Lauren.
And
Marcus, Ron, what are your thoughts?
That's something that's going to hurt Autel as well, because people are, they're not spending money on drones right now. They're making sure that they get food in the house and laying low. So, maybe we'll see an explosion in drone purchases this fall, and I hope we do. And I also want to add that, I wish Autel the best. I hope that they do something really good. But I'm just saying that this is not going to help them. And I'm just looking at the average drone purchaser, and are you going to spend money on an Autel? You got the unknowns of regulation right now in the U.S., as well as a company that's potentially not so financially stable, and are they going to be able to provide backup for that drone? And the thing is, DJI, they will. So they got a tough row to hoe. But I wish them the best.
Ron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really going to, DJI, they haven't really announced anything. So if they push an unannounced product back, it doesn't make any difference because they haven't announced anything. So they got it easy. But, Autel, they've already announced this product, and they're late on the dates they promised. So they have to come out with it. They're releasing this product that's kind of a make it or break it product for them in the middle of, just as you pointed out, Bill, what possibly could be, or Lauren pointed out, could be a disastrous market situation for the next couple of months. So I wish them the best of luck. And on a side note, Bill, did we got rumors that Evo 2's been delivered. Can you go to we'll say Best Buy online or any place online and order it today, or is it still not?
From last I heard, you still can't.
Yeah, so it's still, to me, it's still kind of not a real product, because you cannot just go and order one right now and get a shipping date that is coming next week. So it's not a real product to me until a regular person could just go to a retailer and order it. No prepays and all that. I mean, just straight up buy. So we're not there.
One of the other things that I want to throw into this conversation as well, and and this is, and I'm sorry, we're all going through this right now, is the real possibility of lockdowns, and just being allowed outside your house to get groceries or medical supplies, kind of a thing. And I'm sure that it would really be frowned upon if you were to go out in your backyard, even your backyard, and fly your drone. I mean, it might get to that point, because the whole thing was, the emphasis is on sheltering in place, and that may become a reality for a couple of weeks here. So it's going to, even getting the drone at this point, okay, having the opportunity to go to getting it is one thing, having the opportunity to go out and fly it where you normally fly it is a totally another subject right now that, you know, we could spend a whole show on. I mean, you know, it's at that point because, you know, it's like, you know, Marcus, Snake River Canyon, or going out to the
reservoir. Sure.
You know, and Ron, even going to the beach now, you know, they might be just locking things down and saying, you know, nobody's going in. I mean, except for, you know, getting groceries, or, you know, or if my younger son has a note in his car and he leaves it in his car because he lives in Ohio and he works at food service in an assisted living facility. And that note says that he's allowed to travel back and forth to work. And that's in case he gets stopped by law enforcement. So he can just show them that note, and he leaves it in the car all the time. You know, other than that, or getting groceries or medical supplies, that's it. They're not going to let people out. And, you know, it's you know, we'll talk about this here in a minute. But, you know, what are your thoughts about that? I mean, do you think it's gonna come down to this, guys?
Well, I don't know if I'm kind of in a different shoe than you guys, because but I can tell you that our streets are really, really bare. There's not a lot of people that are going out pretty much unless you need to. Everything that I'm seeing media-wise, like it, you know, the media, what's real and what's fact is, you know, it's up to you to decide. But the social distancing down in the U.S. seems to be pretty atrocious compared to what I see up here, you know, and like New York City got hit real hard. As I say, I lost a friend on Friday, but it's pretty tough to actually social distance when what were the numbers they were given? They got 10,000 people per square kilometer. You know, like, how do you social distance in that? So,
yeah,
you know, it's no wonder New York has the problems that they do. But,
yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
You know, and I think what we're going to do now is, you know, at this point of the show, you know, what you guys have any thoughts? Because I want
to go back to Autel.
Okay, all right, let's go back to Autel.
Okay, like I say, I really hope Autel does good. As I say, it's good for everybody. But I think one of the key things that's going to be a real make or break is once they figure out the issues on the Autel 2, is just how fast on its tail that they make the Autel 2 Pro available.
Mm-hmm.
If that comes out, you know, back to back with the other one, that's where I think that they're really going to gain consumer confidence, because the 2 is delayed. That doesn't necessarily mean the 2 Pro should be, right? Because if they figure it out, we're talking the same drone, just different cameras, you know.
Right.
So
True.
as long as they have the stock to do it, then if they can, you know, take their lumps on the Evo 2 and get the 2 Pro out there, they're going to save a lot of face in my mind. But
Lauren, do you think the Pro will be the best selling of the 3 Evos that they announced?
Absolutely, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
8K is wonderful, but realistically, most people don't have the horsepower to process the video. So some people are going to want it, just if nothing else, for future proofing. But processing that video, unless you're doing some roundabout ways, which that they're out there, you can use proxies, for example, which pretty much allows most computers to do just about any video size if you're using proxies. But most people, like, so you shot 8K video. Have you got an 8K TV to even watch it on? You know, it's good to be able to, if you're going to crop your shots, to bring them in, but do we really need it? You know? Now,
yeah, I agree, Lauren. And you say, you know, are we ready for 8K? And by the time we all have 8K TVs and 8K computers or whatever, we'll have a new drone anyways.
Or several.
Yeah, so it's not like, you know, we're going to, if we bought this Evo Pro, we're going to still be, well, I mean, some people may. It's a good drone, but in 4 or 5 years, we probably have a different drone anyways, so we future-proofed way too soon.
Yeah, well, as Douglas points out, the Pro's going to dominate. And why? It's because it should give the Mavic 2 Pro a good run for its money. And there's certain things that if it's as good as it's supposed to be, it should give it a very good, serious run. And a lot of people flat out, they don't want to buy a Mavic 2 Pro because it's DJI. Some people are just anti-DJI.
Right.
And the
Not
fact,
very many.
yeah, there's enough. But the other thing that's really going to make it step up to the plate, if its specs are as good as it's supposed to be, is the fact that you've got no geofencing, right? So that's one huge advantage over the 2 Pro. For those that just absolutely can't stand the geofencing, for the most part, I'm in favor of it. But DJI has really got to step up to the plate and get their geofencing right. There's a lot of places that are not or should not be geofenced, but they are.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the most common questions I get on my pages, my DJI pages, Lauren, is, I've applied for a waiver and, I sent it in and DJI isn't removing it. And, I'm 7 miles outside an airport, but they say that I'm still within 5 miles of the airport and I can't fly. And, that I see probably, that's the question I probably see across the groups more often than not, is that question regarding the geofencing on DJI drones and getting it released. And, it's like, it's easy with the apps to apply and get the waiver. But once you get the waiver, it's like DJI has to release things. And,
yep.
It could be a real pain in the butt at times to get that done.
Well, that's kind of part and parcel where I have the issue is the fact that, like I say, the geofencing is good. It hopefully deters the ne'er-do-wells from flying where they shouldn't. But DJI puts themselves in the place of the enforcer then, right? Mm-hmm. And that should be the job of law enforcement, not a individual company.
Oh, I agree.
That's my thoughts.
I agree. I mean, they should have, set the standards and then that's it. Okay. Just, if you have that, if it, and make it right. Okay. Because like so many times I see people like I live 7 miles outside the airport and they're still saying I'm within the airport zone. What's given here? I mean, it's like, isn't everything supposed to be pinpoint accurate and where I'm at and everything? And, the before you fly app and the other apps say I'm good to go, but the DJI Go 4 app says no, I can't. I'm within 5 miles. I mean, it's so frustrating for people. Metro Drones, thank you very much for the super chat. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Hey, Bill, what or Laura, what was the first DJI drone that had the flight restrictions built in it?
Phantom 3 Pro.
Oh, really? It goes that far back to the Phantom 3 Pro.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was going to say 4, but wow. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Hey, one point to Lawrence. Talk about the Evo 2 Pro. I think this is it's a small part of the market, but it's a vocal part of the market. The people that require the 4K 60, but they want it in a foldable travel drone. They don't want to buy a larger drone like a Phantom 4 Pro, whatever. The Evo 2 will be a good option for those people. Agree, Lauren?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
My total apologies, Ron. What was that?
I was saying that another selling point for that Evo 2 Pro is there's a large, well, I don't know how large, but there's a special section market there that wants 4K at 60 frames per second. And they can't get it in right now. They can't get it in they want a 1-inch sensor and they want 4K 60, and they can't get that from the Mavic 2 Pro. And maybe they don't want a larger drone like the Phantom 4 Pro, so that'll be a good alternative for those people as who need a 1-inch sensor but want 60 frames per second also.
Yeah, absolutely. And like again, one advantage to the Evo 2 Pro, right, is you've got that ability. I think the real winner, but also going to be kind of a loser, but the real winner is going to be the guy that comes out with the 4K camera that does 120 frames a second, so that you can do your so that you can do your slow-mo right on there, right, and do it decently. The biggest the loser out of that is, like, I've got I use a SD card that's capable of it. Most SD cards don't even think about it, because your bit rate is just going to be astronomical. But my camera
cards again.
Yeah, so it's like the card that I use in my 2 Pro will do 230 megabits a second, right?
Wow.
So, like, it's fast, but the card was $170 too.
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
So how many people want to spend that, right? So
can I switch gears for just a second, Bill?
Go for it.
Because I got a question for Lauren. So Lauren, I had some issues with my Mavic Mini with those rear props.
Yep.
Deforming. I'm just wondering how much of that you're seeing, and how common is that?
Stay tuned to tomorrow night's show.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm going to be discussing that tomorrow night on my show.
Okay.
And,
sorry, I just
that is have I seen that at work? No.
okay.
Do I know it's happening? Yes. And yes, Marcus, you nailed it on the head with your video talking about that. Is what everything that I'm seeing is for not having the props in the right place when you put it in the case there. So, well, THF tonight was talking about, how often you should replace your props. I highly recommend to everybody that every 50 flight hours, you should replace your props. And some people say, well, why? They're fine. Well, what does a set of props cost you compared to a new drone?
There you go. Yeah.
That's such cheap insurance.
Yeah.
That why not? I replace mine every 50 flight hours, or if I notice any, and I repeat, any damage on them at all. So
hey, I'm seeing Ron's comment here about fully opening your props before flight.
Glad you saw that, Marcus.
Yeah. So do you want to take that one, Ron?
I think you can explain it better than I can.
Well, our friend Gorilla Man up in he's in Ontario, in Canada. He took some slow motion video of his props spinning up on his Paradanafi. It's fascinating. I wish I had a link. Ron, maybe you can put the link in there if you could find it.
Okay, you keep talking. I'll work on it.
But what he showed was, when you spread those props, as it spins up, it actually torques that motor and slams those props against the peg there, and he actually started seeing issues with his Anafi props. Now, would that be the same on a DJI drone? I cannot say for certain, but I can tell you I'll never spread my props again before I start again. He had tests both ways. He had them with the props spread, and they just slam into the side of that thing, and he had them together, and they just come out and start spinning. So it's very interesting. Recommend that video, and you'll think about what you do with your props beforehand.
Wow. That's some good education. And buying new props is very cheap insurance for your drone. I mean, it's like, I went on a hunt. Okay. I went on a hunt to try to find the regular props for the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I can't find them. Okay. DJI doesn't sell them. I didn't see them on Amazon. I even checked eBay, couldn't find them, because I know Ken Herron put them on and said they're more efficient in terms of your flight time and other characteristics. So not so much the sound, but for the flight time and for speed and performance characteristics. So it's cheap. I mean, for the Mavic Mini, for the Mavic 2 Pro, I mean, those are cheap fixes. And I have to say this, and this is from everything I've learned about aftermarket props. no, no, and no. Those are the 3 rules with aftermarket props. Don't even think about them, okay? Because I know our friend Art out in Colorado, okay? He had tried putting aftermarkets on his Phantom 3, and it was almost a total disaster. So it's just one of those things you just avoid it, at all costs. You don't even think about it. You don't even go there.
Hey, Bill, can I pile on to that? There was
Sure.
Obviously I've been getting feedback since I posted that video on the Mini.
Oh yeah.
Guys in the feedback warning about going out on Amazon and buying some of those cheap colored props for the little Mini. They said they are horrible. They don't work. Just save your money.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is. I mean, I'll go out and see. One of the things that I do, and what's nice is I got extra props with my Zeno too, so I won't have to go out and do that. But like when the first set of accessories I'll order after I get the drone physically on site, I'll order extra sets of props. That's what I did. I have a spare set for the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. I got a spare set for the Mavic Mini. I got a spare set for my Mavic 2 Pro. So I'm all set when that happens. And then, like Lauren said, if I get a nick in one of them, it's gone. Okay. I don't even hesitate. It's gone. And sometimes I'm so, militant about it is I'll just say heck with it. I'll take all 4 props off and change all 4 of them at the same time. Because, it's like, here it is. Here's the kind of the way I look at it. It's like, the old rotate your tires and balance rotate your tires kind of thing on your cars. Every so many miles, you rotate your tires front to back or back to front or however they do it. It's the same way with your drones, okay, with your props. It's like, not necessarily rotate them, but every so many hours, like Lauren said, change them. Just do it.
A lot of people are asking about master air screw in the chat. How do you feel about those?
Well, and I'll say this. And I know from talking to, and I think, Bill Thomas said it best, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ron or Marcus, I think you probably know this, is, the first thing it said in there is, you assume the liability. When you put those master air screws on there, okay, it's all on you. If something happens to that drone or everything, it's your liability, it's your responsibility. So, when I see something like that, that makes me just stop and say, whoa, okay. And I know a lot of guys have had it. And I also know too, that you have to adjust, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Marcus or Ron, I think you might know this, on the Mavic Air, that's how they got their claim to fame, is it messes with the torque on the motors, okay? And you kind of have to gear things down as far from what I understand. When am I right?
The Mavic Air, now, and Lauren probably knows more about this than any of us, but didn't they, with the master air screws at first, they were having problems with them getting those prop warnings, right? Spinning them up too fast. And so Mavic, the master air screw came out with a recommendation of adjustments to the ESCs to make them work. Well, I don't know how many people are going to go to that much trouble, but.
Well, and that's my thoughts on master air screw. I mean, if you want to do it, that's your gig, and you're more than welcome to do it. But understand, it's that liability's on you. And you know what? Here's what I say. Okay, it's like I constantly get this question. When a new drone comes out, and what kind of case can you recommend, Bill? What kind of case? Here's my thing. All right. You've spent $1,500 on a Mavic 2 Pro, but you want to put it in a $30 case. Okay, come on, here, guys. Okay, it's kind of easy here. All right, for me, all right, I'll spend $100 on a case. It doesn't bother me to do that. People are just like all up in arms about, I've spent $100 to put this, and I'm like, guys, think about it. Okay, you're transporting, especially if here's a good example. Is if you're flying somewhere and you can't put it in your overnight bag or whatever, okay, and you have to put it in the overhead luggage compartment or beneath you, you're not going to want a soft side. And I know what Ron's going to say, because Ron's carried his in his photographer's bag, which is I think it's kind of built and would handle that. But for me personally, when I'm traveling with a more expensive drone, you know, I want to protect the daylights out of that thing. I'll spend $100. I don't have an issue with that. And it's the same thing with props. You know, I'll spend the money to get the OEM props on my drones, because you know what? I don't want to mess with performance or any kind of issues related, because I put on aftermarket props. You know, I want to get out there. I want to enjoy flying. Okay. And if I'm having to worry about aftermarket props and what kind of performance issues they're going to cause, I don't want to have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, can I interrupt just for a second, because I know we're about to end the show. That link Marcus wanted me to post, I have it in the private chat. It's a second YouTube link. I cannot drop it myself because ZinoNation doesn't have a.
Do it right now, Ron.
Yeah.
Go for it, Marcus.
Yeah. So I can't post it, but it's there. So sorry, and I've never used Master Air Screws, so I have no really firsthand knowledge of them. A lot of people actually, you talked about, you would just get the good OEM props, but many people consider the Master Air Screws an upgrade over the OEM props, not a cheap replacement. But I know that, and people have been using these Master Air Screw props since the toy drone days. So, and I'm not saying they're good or bad. I have almost no opinion whatsoever on them because I've never used them.
Well,
there's Metro Drones had just put up a comment.
I put Master Air Screw on an Attitude Pro and looks pretty cool. Haven't noticed any performance differences, but they do sound different. They're pretty noisy in the wind. So that's real interesting there. All right, we're gonna wrap things up, and we're gonna spend a few minutes talking about what's going on in the world. And I'm gonna go last, but Marcus, if you want to start us off and your thoughts about, if you want to share some drone thoughts, that's fine too. But I want to kind of focus on what's going on right now. So take it away, Mark.
Sorry, guys, I've got to head out.
Okay, Mark.
I've got prior commitments. So, night, everybody. Have a
good night. Up in our sympathies regarding your friend.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Lauren.
You betcha.
Yeah. So, Bill, a little bit about drones, and that is, folks, we are in the middle of some tough times right now, and everybody is stressed out. Everybody, because you're not getting out of your house. You're limited on what you can do. A lot of people have a lot of financial stress right now. Get out there and fly your drone if you can. There's nothing that'll put a bigger smile on your face. And I've been saying it for a while now, but I'm going to be like a broken record on this one. Now, above all, let's just be kind to each other. Look out for your neighbors, and hopefully your neighbors are looking out for you. But, if somebody says something on Facebook you don't like or whatever, don't flame them. If you don't like it, just move on to the next one. Let's encourage each other, and let's be nice to each other. And, let's stay safe. Let's keep our social distancing rules in place so that we can protect each other as much as we can, and we will get through this. And that's it. Ron Brown.
Thank you, Marcus. And I'm glad my good friend Marcus Crawford is safe tonight after what I just saw go on in the pre-show with that room rumbling around. So it is as scary as the coronavirus is. Marcus had an up close and personal scare here just a little over an hour ago. So I'm glad you're safe, and I hope that's the last rumble you get tonight. But yeah, on to the tough times with the virus and people being out of work, and small business owners like Sean Isles, suffering through this closed down of business. It's definitely a tough time. And I know some people say, oh, you guys are just complaining about the drones and whatever. And we do it more or less as a relief from the stress of the real world, not to, not as, do we really expect anybody to be sad because we're not getting our drone deliveries. Again, it's just kind of a relief from all the talk you hear almost all day long about the virus. And, and they were talking earlier about it being closed in. As of this morning, the governor of New Jersey, you still could go out and walk for exercise. You were not homebound. Because it was, social distancing, no large groups, only driving to the grocery store, or whatever, and the drugstore, but you could walk in your own neighborhoods. Now that could change by tomorrow, but as today, that was what was coming down. I don't think it violates the president's current orders either, and even your local government, your town's rules too. So that was the rules this morning. Again, it could change tomorrow. So I mean, I still try to get a little exercise outdoors. I mean, some people think I'm at risk, outdoors, and maybe they're right, but again, all our leaders, from my mayor, my governor, and my president, haven't told me I can't walk around the block for exercise. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight for popping in and spending time with us tonight, and people from all over the country there. I hope everybody's safe out there, and they will be safe over the next 30 days, because by what I hear from Dr. Fauci, we haven't hit the high point yet. So we really need to as Bill would say, hunker down over this next month and get through the peaks or whatever, and hopefully get back to living our normal lives in May. But okay, I'm going to get down from my soapbox here, and I'm going to turn it over to the Bill.
First thing I want to say is, you brought up Sean Oz, and if you guys know him, he's a great YouTuber, and really enjoyed getting a chance to know him and talk to him last night on ZinoNation. And if you guys get a chance, this is a chance for anyone that's hearing my voice right now. If you could help him out by buying some merchandise, he has some of his T-shirts for sale. Check out his site. I'll make sure we drop a link in the description, after the show gets posted. So do that and help him out, because he's a small business owner and he's been shut down. And now he told us last night this was his time of the year to make money. And he lives basically in a resort town in Colorado, and it's shut down. And nobody's coming, and they're blocking people from coming, which is a good thing. And they're doing some good things out in Colorado. So get a chance to support Sean. And I will say that. I heard a saying today, about practicing social distancing, and it's really kind of one that really brings it home. I'd rather be 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. Okay. I can't say it any more than that. We heard sobering stats tonight during the White House press briefing. With the best mitigation efforts, we may lose 100,000 to 200,000 Americans. Think about that. Okay. This isn't the flu, guys. And if you're hearing my voice, let me tell you something. Okay. You do not want to go on a respirator. And let me repeat that again. You do not want to go on a ventilator, period. Okay. I can guarantee you that. You don't even want to think about that. And I would appreciate an extra prayer for us down here in Florida, because, I'm just going to say, our governor is not making wise decisions. He shut part of the state down, but he won't shut the whole state down. And I think in order to beat the virus, and in order for us to come out on the other side, he has to shut things down. Fortunately, my county has issued a safer at home order, but you're still allowed to go out and about, get groceries and whatnot. But like Lauren said, he doesn't see many people practicing social distancing the way it should be practiced down here. And I agree with him. And I want to let all of you know, and I've let Ron and Marcus know this, that as of this Saturday, we're making a decision. We're going to shelter in place for 2 weeks. And that means no contact, no groceries, no nothing. Because these next 2 weeks here are going to make or break, it for a lot of people. And I am adamant about that. And I mean, even to the point of stopping mail for 2 weeks. We have to take this seriously, guys. There's no, there's no sugarcoating this. Okay. This disease kills. And you see the stats, and it does hit older people harder. And it also hits younger people as well too. I mean, this doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care the color of your skin, your race, your creed, your national origin. It doesn't care. It doesn't discriminate. It will, if you get it, and you survive, you're a very fortunate person. And, you don't want to have to go to the hospital with this. Okay. You just don't. So, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone. I want to call out, my mom was a registered nurse for 40 years. And I know she had saved lives before. She was an industrial nurse her last 20 years. and she literally saved lives. And my hat's off to all the nurses, the doctors, and everyone who is in the medical profession right now. You know, our thoughts and prayers are first and foremost with you, because, you know, you're exposing yourself to this time and time again during the day. You know, to all the EMS workers and paramedics and other first responders, the firefighters who may have to go in and get people and, you know, expose themselves. You know, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys as well. You know, we're hopeful, but we're realistic at the same time. And, you know, just do what your government says. You know, follow the practices that they encourage you to do. You know, it's an old saying, you know, wash your hand. You know, they've been beating it, but you need to do it. Wash your hands. My hands are so dry, I'm having to put hand cream on them multiple times a day because I've been washing them so much. Anything that comes to our house, I have a Clorox bleach cleaning solution in a bottle, and I spray everything with a paper towel, and then I wipe everything down, and then we throw the bags away. They go right to the garbage can. All right, we're taking all the precautions that we can, and I hope all of you do as well. You know, take this seriously, and we'll get through to the other side. We will make it. Okay, trust me, we will make it. But follow what your government tells you to do. You know, stay safe. If you have a lockdown, you know, stay in lockdown. I saw Stephen Ewing posted, you're only allowing one person in a pharmacy or a grocery store at a time. You know, which is you know, it's the sign of the times, and we'll make it through. Okay, you know, we're here. You know, it's a pleasure to be on ZinoNation with Ron and Marcus. It's a pleasure to be with you guys as well. You know, every Tuesday night, and you know, that's all I can say at this point. You know, it always is a great day to fly, but you know what? You know, I'll even say this. You know, 30 days. Let's do. I'll close the show with 30 days. Okay. Hope everyone, please stay safe. Please follow what your government tells you to do, and we'll see you next Tuesday night.
And don't forget to go over the Philly Drone live show next.
Yes, to see Ron and Mr. Mikey.